Hey everyone, C-Stan here with Lord of the Rings Living Card Game. My first video of a style of play known as progression, where you only use cards that are available at the time that the quest was released. So I'm going all the way back to core set. So I'm only using cards from actually a single core set. And I'm going to be attempting Journey Along the Anduin 2-player. This is a quest that gives many new players a lot of trouble, and understandably so. It's a very difficult quest, and especially with the hill troll that starts in play. If you're not really prepared for it, if you go in with decks that aren't really meant for avoiding the troll, you can get stomped pretty quickly and left feeling like the encounter is just impossible. So with that in mind, I can explain the deck builds a little bit. First of all, I'm only using 30 cards. You were supposed to use 50 card decks to be, I guess, to be considered legal decks. However, in the core set, all the standard starter decks are only 30 cards. So I'm taking an example from that, in that you don't really have enough good cards in the core set to make a nice 50 card deck. I wouldn't really concern yourself with that rule until you've expanded your card pool somewhat and can actually build a consistent deck with 50 cards. Also, there are some really great cards like Unexpected Courage, which I'd love to have 3 copies of, but they only include 1 copy in the core set, so I'm only going to use 1. The idea here is splitting up the spheres a little bit. So we got a spirit and tactics deck, and a lore and leadership deck. The spirit deck is going to try to reduce our threat so that we don't engage the hill troll right away. And the lore deck is going to try to get force snare out so we can trap the hill troll and prevent it from attacking us. The leadership deck also has 3 copies of Gandalf and 2 copies of Sneak Attack, whereas I only put 1 copy of Gandalf into the Spirit deck. That's because Sneak Attack and Gandalf is one of the strongest combos you can get out of the core set, and we want to make as much use of that as possible. And other than that, just what I consider to be the strongest cards of each sphere in the starting set. So let's go ahead and start up the game. I've already loaded the decks, and I've just got to do the setup actions on the card. So each player reveals 1 card from the top of the counter deck and adds it to the staging area. So I'll reveal 1. Each location in the staging area gets +1 threat until the end of the phase. Then each player with a threat of 35 or higher chooses and discards 1 card from his hand. So luckily, since this is the setup, this effect will have no effect. So we kind of get lucky there. And then, we also draw a Marsh Adder. So we get a really nice card in setup and then a really nasty one. This guy can be annoying. He sits there in the staging area, adding 3 threat a turn, and he's got a massive 7 hit points, so he's hard to take out right away. Okay. So we've revealed the 2. We go into stage 1B, and it says 1 revealed. Search the encounter deck for 1 hill troll, if 1 is not already in play, and place it in the staging area. Shuffle the encounter deck. And we cannot defeat the stage until we defeat the hill troll. So looking through here, we grab hill troll, goes and shuffle, and now we can mulligan. So what do I want to see with this? What do I want to see in this hand? Well, Feint would be really nice. Other than that, I guess Test of Will, Unexpected Courage are all good cards to have in the Tactics deck. But I don't think this is too bad. So let's keep it and go to the other hand. And we see that we have Forest Snare. We don't have a Steward of Gondor, which would be very, very nice in our opening hand. But we do have Forest Snare, so we can trap that troll quickly. And we do have Protector of Lorien to boost up our main defender, Denethor. So let's keep that hand as well. Starting the turn, everyone gets one resource and draws a card. And we start with player 1. I'm going to put this Gondorian Spearman into play for 2. And then player 2 is going to play Protector of Lorien on Denethor. First, they're going to yeah, I'm going to place Protector of Lorien on Denethor. And that's it. So, we can always use Barivor to draw 2 cards, but I want to save her just in case an enemy turns up that we have to defend that we aren't counting on. I'm going to wait until I see what is revealed in the initial quest phase before I use her to draw cards. And also there's a Nasty Treachery that deals 1 damage to all exhausted characters, so I can also wait until after the quest phase to use her ability and save myself a damage. So in terms of questing, the first player will commit 5 willpower to the quest. And the second player will commit 1. And after he's committed to a quest, choose a hero committed to the quest. Add 1 resource to that hero's resource pool. So we commit 1 resource to Anduin. And that will be helpful next turn. So just 1 here. So you can see we've only committed 6 willpower to the quest, and we've got 4 in the staging area. So what we could do is also commit Denethor. And then Protector of Lorien can help us discard. Because what we really don't want is we really don't want to fail the quest and have our threat go up and have to engage the troll. So I'm going to exhaust Denethor. So we're going to commit a total of 7. And we reveal 2 cards. 1, the Gladden Fields. 2, the Misty Mountain Goblins. So the total threat in the staging area is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 versus, and we committed 7. So right now we are 2 short. So our threat would go up by 2. But luckily we've got Eowyn's ability, so we can each discard a card to increase our total willpower committed to the quest by 2. So I'm going to... oh, sorry, I forgot. Thalin, since he's committed to the quest, does deal a damage here to the goblins. And then... yeah, so we still have to discard. I'm going to discard... Beorn, and then the other player is going to discard probably the Snowborn Scout. So that increases Eowyn's willpower by 2. So we have 9 versus 9, so we tie. So no, our threat doesn't go up, but we also don't get any progress. Now we move into the travel phase. We can travel to the Gladden Fields. And that means we're going to have to raise our threat by an additional point during the refresh phase. The Misty Mountain Goblins. So for the encounter phase now, these two are above our threat level, so they won't engage us. This guy will. And so I'm going to have him engage us here. And I'm going to risk an undefended attack from him. That's because I have Hasty Stroke, and I can cancel a very bad shadow effect if I need to. Luckily, there was no bad shadow effect, so we just have to distribute this 2 damage, and I'll put them on Legolas because he's not likely to be damaged in any other way. And now we can attack, and we attack with Legolas, dealing 2 damage to the Misty Mountain Goblins and removing it from play. Now we have Barivore, who we can use to draw cards. The question is, who needs it more? I'd like to get Unexpected Courage for this deck, but I'd also like to get Steward of Gondor for this deck. So let's draw 2 cards here. And no, we didn't manage to get it. But now we refresh. And we start a new turn. Now player 1 is over here. And it looks like we have to increase our threat by an additional point during the refresh phase. So my program automatically increases my threat by 1 every refresh phase. So I just went ahead and added an additional 1. Now what do we want to do here? We can actually snare the Hill Troll now with our 3 lore resources. So let's play a Snowborn Scout for 1. And he gets to place 1 progress on a location. So I'll place 1 progress here. And I'll be using him to essentially take the attack. Well, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll use Denethor, who can buff up his defense up to 6. And yeah, so I'm saving my lore resources. And so player 2 has done their planning phase. Player 1 can actually reduce our threat now. So we could avoid the Hail Troll for a couple more turns. But I'm actually going to save that. I'm going to instead play another Gondorian Spearman. 1, 2. And commit again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8. So the timing issue is important here. This is the first player. So I commit these heroes to the quest first. So at that time that Theodred committed to the quest, Eowyn was not committed to the quest. So I can't put my resource over here anymore. I've got to put it on my own guys here. So after Theodred commits to a quest, choose a hero committed to that quest. Add 1 resource to that hero's resource pool. I might actually save Barivore and put the resource on my own pool, because it doesn't specify that it has to be a different hero. it would use the phrasing, choose another hero committed to that quest. So I put it on myself, and that brings our total willpower up to only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we can reveal 2 cards. 1, deal 1 damage to each character controlled by each player with a threat of 35 or higher. That's nobody. 2, Unenchanted Stream. So we had 6 willpower. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 threat in the staging area. So again, we tie. So we actually don't have to engage the Hill Troll this turn if we don't want to. And, I mean, even if we had failed the quest, we still had Galadrim's Greeting. We could have used Eowyn to reduce our threat. But I'm actually already in a position where I can defend the Hill Troll. So I'm going to do that, just to reduce the amount of threat that's in the staging area each turn. So during the encounter phase, this player will voluntarily engage the Hill Troll. And now we are in the combat phase. We deal a shadow to the Hill Troll, defend with Denethor, and reveal the card. Defending character does not count its shields. So that's huge, right? Because essentially that's going to deal 6 damage. I can't even pump that up. Like if I discard cards with Protector of Lorien to get myself to 6 defense, I don't count my defense. So this is just going to burn right through that and kill Denethor. However, we have a resource for Hasty Stroke, so we can actually spend 1 and cancel the shadow effect. So I do count my shields, and I do pump myself up to 6 defense by discarding 1, 2, 3 cards. And so I don't take any damage. And so we're done combat. We can start a new turn. We're increasing our threat by... before doing that, I would use Barivor. So Barivor was still ready at the end of the last turn. So before you move on to the next turn, you should use Barivor if she's unexhausted. And again, I'm trying to get Steward of Gondor in this deck, so this deck will draw the additional 2 cards. Okay, and every refresh phase, you're supposed to increase your threat by an additional point. So we're going to do that. Now, player 1 here. Can't do a whole lot with the cards that are in their hand. So they're going to pass. And go to the player 2. And... probably going to play the Forest Snare down on the Hill Troll for 3. Split it like that. Now we can sneak attack Gandalfin to deal 4 damage to the Hill Troll. And then we can attack with Gandalf and Legolas with 7 attack to deal 4 more damage. And we would just need 1 more damage in order to kill him, which we can get from another source. So yeah, I'm not really in a big rush to kill the Hill Troll. So I'll play a little more conservatively. He's not going to be attacking us for a while. So I'm going to save up, try to get Faramir into play, who will boost our willpower by a lot. So I'm not going to do anything here. Just commit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 willpower. And then this time we can place a resource on to Anduin here. And we get, yep, so 6 willpower again. Reveal 2 cards. Each location in the staging area gets +1 threat, and then discard a card from each person with 35 or higher. So that's now at 3 threat, and we reveal the second card, which is Necromancer's Class, which is also at +1 threat. So they've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 versus our 6. So that's not so good, but we can get ourselves up to 8 by discarding Quick Strike and Ever Vigilant for Anduin. So we're at 8, and they're at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. So our threats go up by 2. For combat, he does not attack us. So he still gets dealt a shadow card, though. And we attack with everything we've got, which is just 1, 2, 3. You know what? I'm not going to bother attacking. That's not going to do anything. So I'm going to actually use Denethor for his scrying ability. So we get to look at the top card. It's Crows. So I can move that to the bottom of the deck if I want, but I'm not going to. Because next turn I know that Thalon is going to eliminate them before they surge. So that's good. That's great. Alright, so let's start a new turn. The shadow card can go. Oh, sorry, again, forgot to use Barivore before the refresh phase, so I'm gonna draw 2 more cards with the leadership deck here, because I wouldn't have seen that I drew a Steward of Gondor. Okay, but now we do have Steward of Gondor. So Steward of Gondor, I'm gonna pay 2. And attach it to Anduin, who will exhaust it to add 2 resources. And with my lore resources, I can play Self-Preservation on Denethor to give him a little more healing. And so that's my turn. And then on this side, we've got Northern Tracker, cost 4. And yeah. So now we commit to the quest. We're going to commit 1. There's lots of threat in the staging area. We should try to commit a lot so our threat doesn't keep going up. So this time I'm actually going to use Barivore for questing. So we got 1, 2, 3, and then I'll add resource to Theodred. This player will commit, of course, Anduin for 4, Northern Tracker for 1, and Thalon for 1. And the northern tracker places 1 progress on each of these locations. And thinking about locations, I just realized I forgot this effect again. So both our threats go up by 1. Okay, reveal cards. The first card is the Crows, which dies from Thalon. And then the second card is this Necromancer's Reach, which will deal damage to all these characters. Damage, 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 damage. But the nice thing is, I think we've got decent willpower for this, because we drew 2 cards that ended up not adding threat to the staging area. So we had a total of 6, 7, 8, 9. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we place 1 progress, and then player 2 will discard their Faramir for Eowyn's effect to boost up 1 more willpower, and finally complete this active location. And since it's got victory points, it goes to the victory display. Now for the travel phase, I'm not actually going to travel to either one, and that's because the northern tracker on the next turn will complete both of them. So we just ignore them, and what I can do is then thinking about how I can kill this Marsh Adder eventually. For 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so I will optionally engage this guy finally this turn and defend. So we deal a shadow card to both enemies in decreasing order of threat. And defend with Denethor, the Marsh Adder, who raises my threat by 1. I'm thinking here, if I do get that treachery that makes me not count my shields, I lose Denethor. So maybe it's not worth risking it. And I should maybe actually defend with the Snowborn Scout. So Snowborn Scout defends, we reveal a card, and there was no shadow effect. But Snowborn Scout is now defeated. And we can sneak in Gandalf. So play sneak attack for 1. Gandalf enters play. And I'm going to use his effect to draw 3 cards. Now for the attacking phase, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 attack from Legolas, which is enough to kill the Marsh Adder and put it in the victory display. And since Legolas defeated an enemy, we get 2 progress on the first quest stage. And now that the combat phase is over, Gandalf pops back into my hand, and we start the next turn. And the shadow card is gone. Exhaust the Steward of Gondor to place an additional 2. And now we can afford quite a bit. We can afford Gandalf this turn. But if we play Gandalf, then the other player can't use sneak attack Gandalf. Well, let's play Gandalf anyway, because this deck really needs to draw cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And draw 3. Draw, draw, draw. Good. And that's that. Other player's turn. I'll spend 3 lore resources, 1, 2, 3, to make this player draw 3 cards. Draw, draw, draw. And so yeah, so that's that. Anything else? I'm going to save up for Faramir here, so I don't want to spend this. We'll just go ahead and commit to the quest. So 4, 5, 6, completing both locations. And 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we got 11 willpower, and then this resource again will go on Theodred. So 11 willpower, and we reveal 2 cards. Reveal an additional X cards from the encounter deck. X is the number of players in the game. That's pretty bad. I think that's an additional card, so I'm going to play a Test of Will to cancel that. And so we reveal only 1 more card, which is the Chieftain. Okay, so our 11 versus their 2 is going to be 9 progress. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Which is, there, 9. Which is more than the amount we need, but we can't progress to the next stage until the hill troll is gone. So what can we do about this guy? Well, he's going to engage us because we've got 36 threat. So what can we do about that? We can reduce our threat. He should have 1 damage on him from Thalon, but he's going to take a lot more damage to kill. So 3 damage. Let's reduce both players' threat by 2. And that way we avoid having to deal with him this turn. We do get to ignore combat again. And Barivor, we can use her to draw. And got some Gandalf, some sneak attacks. It's great. Attacking wise, we can't do much, so we'll use Denethor to peek at the next card. So that'll be each player raises a threat by 1 for each character that is not currently committed to the quest. That's good to know. In fact, we might even want to hide that to the bottom. Yeah, let's move that to the bottom, because that's a lot of threat. So Denethor, we use him to place this card at the bottom of the encounter deck. Alright, so we start a new turn. Gandalf disappears. Shadow card gets discarded, and we exhaust Steward. Get 5 resources there. We can play Faramir now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 6. Okay, I think that's all that player 1 is going to play. We only got a couple of resources left, so we want to save a resource for sneak attack. Now this player can... we're going to have to deal with the chieftain this turn, so we want to be ready for that. We can play another sentinel here, spearman, and I guess what we'll do is we'll defend him with Denethor, and then probably attack him with Legolas and a sneak attack Gandalf or something. So committing 4, 5, 6, 7 willpower to the quest. And revealing 2 cards. Although we trigger Theodred's resource, and we're actually going to put it on, I think, Eowyn. Yeah. Oh wait, no, sorry. Player 1 here, so we've got to put it on Theodred. All right. So 4, 5 willpower here, and then 1 willpower on the other player. And reveal 1 card. Each enemy in the location staging unit gets +1 threat. Okay, so he's at +1 threat. And reveal a 2nd card. It's a Dol Guldur Beastmaster, who was also at +1 threat, and takes a damage. That's there, and then there. So our 7 willpower, or sorry, 5, 6 willpower versus there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a tie. And now we got to engage both of these guys. So I think what's going to happen is we will take the Beastmaster here and the Chieftain there, both doing optional engagements. And we start out dealing the shadow cards with the highest. So shadow, shadow, and then the next player, shadow. Now it's time for sneak attack. Sneak attack for 1, Gandalf drops down. And the 4 direct damage we're going to apply to the Dol Guldur Beastmaster, which, thanks to Thalin's 1 damage, kills him. And now Denethor defends the Chieftain. Remove 1 progress from the current quest. That's fine. We were over our limit anyway. And the Hill Troll doesn't attack us. So now, after he attacks, place 1 resource token on him. So now he has more attack. But we are going to take him out with our 1, 2, 3, 4. How much attack do we need? He's got 1 damage, so he's at 5. We need 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is enough to kill him. And he's another victory display card. And Legolas defeated an enemy, so he placed 2 progress here. And Barivor can be used now to draw 2 cards. And we're going to make him Spirit, the Spirit player, draw 2. And Gandalf pops in at the end of the combat phase. We start a new turn. So as you can see, I'm already on the 7th turn, and I haven't gone to the next stage. I think it's a mistake to go to the next stage too early in Journey Along the Anduin, and that's because on the next stage it's 16 progress to complete, and you're revealing an additional card every turn. If you go too quickly before you've built up a lot of willpower, you're just going to get stuck there, and just overwhelmed by the amount of threat in the staging area, which you can never overcome. So that's why I'm going deliberately, very slowly, making sure that I build up a strong army of allies in order to just burn through the second stage when I get there. Okay, Eowyn's now at 8. And we can play another Northern Tracker. We can also play, let's see, is there an ally belonging to a sphere in someone's discard pile? There's Beorn. There's also in here, there's some Snowborn Scouts where we could get into play. But no, we don't need to do that. Beorn will help us take out the Hill Troll for sure. Okay. So as I was saying, you want to build up a lot of willpower. So let's pay 2 here to put the stone on Eowyn. And that's probably it. We will commit 4, 5, 6. I'll place the resource on myself. 3, 4, 5, 6. That should be enough. So we reveal 2 cards. 1 is the Brown Lands, and then 2 is the Dol Guldur Orcs. So this one revealed, choose a character currently committed to the quest, deal 2 damage to that character. So as you can see, this is going to be pretty bad because I have 3 characters committed to the quest, and they are all... Oh, no, we can handle that. 2 damage, sure. Let's put it on... let's put it on Thalin. And that's fine. So they've got 7, we have 6, so we just discard a card from our hand to boost up Anduin. And we will discard... I guess one of these blades. Actually, I'd rather discard this Blade Mastery. Okay. So we can travel here. And when we travel there, we instantly beat it. This guy has a damage from Thalin. We'll voluntarily engage him here. Deal out shadow effects to the enemies. Northern Tracker defends, the 2 attack. And he gets +1 attack, so Northern Tracker takes a hit. And then Legolas, since he doesn't attack, Legolas kills off the Dol Guldur orcs and places 2 progress. Beravor draws 2 cards for the spirit deck. And then we exhaust Denethor to look at the next card. Deal 1 damage to each character controlled by each player with a threat of 35 or higher. So that's going to be nasty. It's a good thing we looked at that. And so did I not play a Galadrim's Greetings already? Pretty sure I did. Did I forget to actually put in my discard pile? Or was I just talking about playing it? Because that could be potentially important for this Evil Storm. I can't remember if I actually played it. So let me take a quick look at the log and see what I did here. I drew it, and I draw a second one. Yes, I did play it. Okay. So this should be in my discard pile. I don't know why I moved it back to my hand. Okay. That's fine, though. We know it's coming. There's something we can do about it. We just need to start the next turn. Alright, so on this turn, we will play Gandalf. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reduce our threat by 5. And also play a Guard of the Citadel for 2. Now this other player can play Greeting on themselves to lower 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're both under 35 now. And we're safe. Of course, there's always the option of canceling it with Test of Will, but I've already used one, so I only have one left, and I want to make it good. So if I can avoid using it for that, I definitely want to. Okay, alright. I know you want to see me go on to the next stage. That's the hard one. So let's try to kill the Hill Troll this turn. Let's make sure we have enough attack. We're going to have we're going to need 9, 12 attack. So between 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, we should have enough. So let's play Blade of Gondolin here, another Blade of Gondolin there, and should probably play Horseback Archer for 3. So that's another ranged character. So we're definitely going to have enough to take out this cave troll. Alright, and exhausting the Steward. So Eowyn commits 4 plus 2 for the stone, so that's 6. And this player doesn't commit any because it's not going to be needed. Although it'd be kind of nice to be able to commit Theodred just for the resource. So I'll commit Theodred, put the resource on, Theodred. And so we got 6 here and 1 here, so 7. We reveal this card, and it doesn't do anything, so we reveal the second card. And it's got 3 threat, so we're 4 over. And we can do travel. Discard the Evil Storm. And combat phase, deal a shadow card. He doesn't attack, but we can attack it. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Yeah, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's 11. We're 1 short, so we can either attack with Barivor. It will attack with Barivor. Okay. So we finally killed him. Boom. So you can see how powerful Forest Snare is. We kept that troll around for ages, and he didn't do anything to us. Legolas defeated an enemy, so we get 2 progress locations plus 1, so 4 progress. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is enough to complete that. That's nice. We won't have to raise our threat by an additional point. And so we go to the next stage because the hill troll's dead and we had enough progress. And as you know, we've got to reveal an additional card every turn now. So let's start the next turn. And we are going to try our best to only be in this stage for a single turn. Because every turn you stay here is like it's a losing battle here, revealing 3 cards. Alright, first player. Exhaust Steward. And play. We got a lot of emergency cards, as you can see. I mean, we can cancel shadow effects when revealed effects, boost our attack by 1 if we need it. So we're just going to hold on to those. We can even get Beorn out if we need him, using stand and fight. So hold on to that. And over here, we could draw cards. We could play allies. Let's play... No, let's save. There's one character who's in danger of dying if a certain treachery comes up. So I'm going to play 3. 1, 2, 3. to heal Thalon by 2. Now, is it going to be possible for us to progress to the next stage? Let's see. Let's commit our characters to the quest. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you know what? I'm actually committing these guys, even though they're 0. And you'll see why. 0, 0. 9. Commit Barivore. So this deck's got 2, 3. So this deck has 3 willpower, and this deck had 6, 7, 8, 9 willpower. All right. So only 11 willpower. All right, let's reveal our 3 cards. Getting ready to cancel them if we need to. So, first card, 35 or higher, good. So, because of our threat reduction earlier, this doesn't affect us. Second card, this one does. This is brutal. Okay, it would kill this guy, this guy, this guy, you know. Well, that's it. But I want to cancel that for sure. So we spend 1 resource from Eowyn for that one. And the third card is Banks of the Anduin. Okay. So get rid of these treacheries. We have 9, 10. We've got 9, 10, 11, 12, minus 1. So that would only get us 11 progress. However, we can exhaust Faramir. To choose a player, each character controlled by that player gets +1 willpower until the end of the phase. So I'm choosing this player, and they've got, so everyone's got +1 willpower, so these guys all have 1 now. So we get add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 willpower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in total, we're at 20. So 20 minus 1 is 19 progress, which is enough to complete this stage. Now, I had a trick up my sleeve that I want to talk about, and that is Ever Vigilant. You can actually play Ever Vigilant for 1, choose and ready 1 ally card, and I could choose Faramir and exhaust him again, and add an additional 8 willpower. So this combo here is a really great one for this quest, because if you got Faramir in play and Ever Vigilant, you can boost like an insane amount of willpower and get through the stage in one go. But luckily I didn't need that. So we're done that. Next stage. Reveal 2 encounter cards per player, add them to the staging area. And then we skip the staging step, the quest phase, for the remainder of the game. So this is the final assault. And we're ambushed on the shore, so we reveal 4 cards. 1, another Banks. 2, each player raises his threat by 1 for each character he controls that is not currently committed to the quest. So that would make it, well, only 1 for this player. And then for this player, we've got 1, 2, 3 not committed to the quest. 1, 2, 3. And so that's 2 cards. 3 cards, Necromancer's Pass, 4 cards, the Dol Guldur Beastmaster. Okay. once there are no enemies in play, the players have won the game. So if we can kill this enemy this turn, we win. Can we, though? He engages us. I'll voluntarily engage him with this player. And he gets dealt a shadow card. And Denethor will defend. Yeah, in terms of attacking strength, I've only got 3 here. 3 plus 1 when attacking an orc. He's an orc. So Legolas would be at 3, 4, 5. And we can get 6 with this Guard of the Citadel. So potentially we can take him out. Because... yeah. He should have a damage from Thalon, actually. Yes, I believe he should have a damage from Thalon because Thalon was still committed to the quest while we were resolving the quest, which was included going to the next stage and revealing the cards. So he should have a damage, even though it won't end up being needed. Anyway, we defend with Denethor, and when he attacks, he gets an extra shadow card, so we'll deal him another. Reveal the first, second. Nothing dangerous. So we can, even if there was something dangerous, we had Hasty Stroke waiting for it, and we had Protector of Lorien ready to buff him up. So there wouldn't have been much danger there. And we can attack and take him out. But just for fun, we are going to do something that I didn't get to do, which is to play Stand and Fight. Choose an ally with a printed cost of X in any player's discard pile. Look at all cards. We're going to pull out Beorn, yay! And pay 6 for that. And he enters into play under control. So we get to use Beorn this turn, even though he can't really attack anybody. And we can even buff him up a little bit with Blade Mastery and use his ability, so he's at plus 5 attack. So 5, 6, 7, 8. He could be buffed up to 10 attack. So just to show you the capability of the deck, even though it wasn't required, we could have very easily dealt with a little bit more than what we were faced with. Especially since this deck's got Ever Vigilant, so he could choose and ready Beorn, so Beorn could use his attack 10 twice. So even if we had revealed like the worst 4 cards in that last stage, we would have been totally fine. So there you have it. Oh well, let me just do it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attack, and the Beastmaster goes in the discard pile. We win, and if you're actually concerned about your score, the better thing to do would have been to not play Beorn, obviously, and instead used your 6 resources, spend 1 of them to get Galadrim's Greetings out from the discard pile and play it for 3 and reduce your threat by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's if you're concerned about your score, which you shouldn't be if you're just learning the game. The score is 10 points for every completed round. Add up the total threat of all the players, the total damage on the heroes, the threat of the dead heroes, and subtract your victory points for a total of 132. So there you have it. That's Journey Along the Anduin with just 1 single core set. We were in total control for pretty much the entire quest. We could have got, we could have got some unluckier draws, unluckier starting hands for sure, but it did take us a long time to get Steward, which is normally not the case. And we did have to deal with, I mean, the hill troll. We had to deal with that chieftain and the marsh adder. When marsh adder was actually started in the staging area. So we had this guy right away, adding 3 threat. But yeah, so we had to deal with, some powerful enemies. We even had to, our threat was up at 30 by the second or third turn, so we had to deal with the hill troll relatively early. But nevertheless, we managed to win. And I think it really just comes down to taking your time and learning the appropriate pace to advance. Don't rush into the second stage. You're going to just get swamped with locations. You're going to reveal 3 cards, and 2 of them are going to be locations. And you're going to already have an active location. And you're not going to be able to place progress on that active location because you've got so much threat in the staging area. And you're not going to be able, so since you can't clear that location, you can't travel to any location that you just revealed. And so that location is just going to sit in the staging area, adding threat for next turn, and make it even harder to advance the next turn after that. And you can see like it just keeps spiraling out of control into a sort of location lock. So the much better thing to do, in my opinion, is to stay at stage 1 as long as you can. Build up an army of allies and possibly Faramir as well. And once you get to that stage 2, you just book it through stage 2, get to stage 3 with your army of allies and all your tricks. You can see we've pretty much both drawn up our entire decks at this point, thanks to Baravor, and constantly drawing us cards. So that's the general idea. You can try out this pair of decks for yourself if you want. The deck lists will be posted in the description. And let me know if you have any questions about other quests, how you should build for them in general. If you are looking to build towards a specific quest, or if you've got a limited card pool, what the most powerful combination of decks you can build would happen to be. Let me know if you liked this progression style video where I go back to the core set. I know this is a quest that is really challenging for new players, so I wanted to get out a pair of concrete deck lists that has a very solid chance at winning. This is the first attempt I ever made with these 2 decks. I just built them, and so I didn't sort of go through 100 attempts and record 100 attempts and happen to show you one that went really well. This is just my first attempt, and so it should hopefully help out anyone who's feeling really frustrated with that hill troll. And so yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. You can check out my rest of my channel for other Lord of the Rings card game videos. And so I hope you have a great day. Let me know what you thought, and happy questing.